we're being recorded right now, but anyway, let's just.
Okay.
I'll start with an introduction because the last one I did, did you watch the last one I did?
Yeah, you didn't do any introduction, right?
No, I did not. The funny thing is, I did an introduction, but because I forgot to record it. I forgot to record the whole thing, so it just kind of. That's why I was like, okay, we're live, because before we had like 2 minutes or 5 minutes of talking, but nothing happened. But anyway, it's gonna be the introduction, okay?
Sure thing.
All right, so what's poppin'? Welcome back to the conversation too. Initially, I did call this the G pod, but I think the conversation actually sounds better. And you probably guessed from the title, we talk in the film industry, and I got the homie Mark here with me, and excuse me, he's a cinema guy. He's made a few short movies. Not too sure if it's online or not, but if it is, I'll leave the description. I'll leave the link in the description. Mark, have you made? I mean, you have made some short movies. Do you have it online or?
Yeah, I do have the short films online. I can just send them over to you so you can give the link to your subscribers. No problem.
Yeah, sure, man. I mean, I'll go for that. I actually haven't seen it myself, so I'm kind of interested. So be sure. Is it on YouTube or is it any other platform?
YouTube and Vimeo. So yeah.
Oh, how come you never told me about this? I mean, I knew you made stuff. I just didn't think you put it up.
I actually made a short film using Zoom. Everything was in Zoom. It starts off like a normal conversation, like this guy is just looking for someone to hook up with, and he finds out later on that the girl he's trying to hook up with is actually a dead person who's trying to haunt him, and as a form of her revenge to this landlord that killed her or that raped her before. So she's actually a ghost. So actually, that's the whole plot. Yeah.
I mean, listen, no spoilers, man. Like we don't need to know the whole plot. So I'll do you a I'll do you a favor and I'll just edit that out so no one can actually know the spoiler. But yeah, no, I'll put up I'll leave it in the description. But as I said earlier on, we're talking about the film industry and listen, it's taken a hit, and we talking billions here. I think it's a 66% drop to be specific, just due to the pandemic. But someone else's loss is pretty much someone else's gain, and the main beneficiaries of that are the streaming guys like Netflix, Disney, HBO, and Amazon. Now, Netflix is the biggest name, and they were pretty much a lot more prepared. So I think they've invested like 17 billion just in 2020, and I don't even think the closest competitors come to half of that. They pretty much understand the market, and they realize it's not sustainable to rely on other producers. So I mean, they ain't gonna have Friends forever. They ain't gonna have The Office forever. So that's why they have their own original shows, like like The Witcher, for example. But excuse me. Moving on from that though, let's talk Tenet by Christopher Nolan. And this was supposed to be the movie that saves the industry, that kickstarts the the whole renaissance, but it hasn't really happened like that. And well, first of all, did you actually watch the movie?
Yeah, it's a really it's confounding. It's really complex. I think it's one of the most ambitious. It's probably the most ambitious film by Nolan. It's something you have to watch 2-3 times to be able to understand. It's that complicated.
Do you think it was more ambitious than Inception?
I think it was more ambitious and more complicated to follow and to just understand the whole thing. I think I need to watch it another time to really understand it 100%. There's still a lot of unanswered questions for me. So yeah.
I think I actually agree with you, because there is no Nolan movie that I watched that I feel like, oh, that was extremely complicated. Like Tenet is the only one I watched and I was like, I don't really understand. I don't really get certain things too much. So I do agree with you on that part. I actually watched Tenet again. It's the only Nolan movie I've watched like twice just to kind of get the script. And when I did, it did make a lot more sense. I still don't think it's a amazing movie. I don't think it's in the same lane as Inception or Interstellar, to be honest. But it is a good movie nonetheless. But I think the main point here is that it only made like 359 million. And if you look at Nolan's other work, Dunkirk, which is I think that made 526 million. So is that a flop or is that a not? And I think that if we're talking about COVID-19, maybe that's a good number. But at the same time, that's not what Warner Bros. Expected. That's not what Christopher Nolan expected. Like, if that's what they expected, they wouldn't have dropped it. So, like, in your opinion, like, is that a flop?
I think it's they still made a significant amount of money off of it. I think given like the circumstances right now and the situation where people can't really go to the cinema, and that's really the main probably a main marketing point of films is being able to distribute it worldwide and for people to watch it in cinemas. But in this case, cinema now is some sort of it's now a commodity for everyone. It's been a commodity, but it's now something more accessible than before because it's all in streaming websites now. So I don't think it's a flop. I don't consider it as a flop. I think it sold a lot of it sold a lot of online viewings and rentals, I guess, and I wouldn't consider it as something that failed.
But do you think, I mean, like, from a Warner Bros perspective, do you think, hey, listen, we were pushing this movie to come out nonstop, and if we had waited until next year, and let's say the COVID-19 got a lot better, or what, in the sense that the restrictions are a lot more laxed, you would probably make a lot more money there, because I'm looking at everyone's eyes was on Tenet, basically, and as soon as they got the results of, okay, this is how much it made, straight away James Bond got pushed back. Everything was getting pushed back now, because there's no point, like, why would you drop the movie this year with COVID-19 when you can just hold it and then drop it next year? Because a lot of these movies actually come out in general, they're already finished, like, you know what I mean? Like, some movies could be done in 2018, but they'll come out in 2019 or 2020. So there was no rush to, I don't know why Warner Bros. Were just so eager to drop it. And I mean, they went down that route, and basically this is the outcome. Now, I think the main thing for me now is when Warner Bros. Turns around and says, Wonder Woman is gonna be streaming, and it's pretty much said, all the lineup for 2021 is gonna be on HBO Max. So that's like Dune as well, and that's Matrix, and that's Suicide Squad. And straight away, I thought, this is amazing, because I'm just gonna subscribe to HBO Max. I think for them, subscription wise, like, I actually see them now as a bit of a proper competitor, because okay, you have Netflix, you have Amazon, you have all these other guys, and I know Disney's doing extremely well. I never really saw the Disney one as a main. I always kind of saw it as a little side thing. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, think about it. You have the PS4 and you have the Nintendo Switch. Now, the Switch could be your main platform. Disney could be your main platform, but you're not really getting everything from there. You're only kind of getting specific type of content.
Exactly.
And HBO, they make great shows, like, So it's kind of like this. Exactly. You come for Wonder Woman, but you stay for Westworld. You know what I mean? And I thought perfect, but at the same time, what does that mean for the cinema industry, the film industry?
I think slowly we'll be going back to the cinemas sooner. I think as soon as we have the vaccine, I think people will start the cinema industry will start booming again slowly. But now, as we wait for the vaccine, for everyone to get the vaccine, I think it's a good move to actually give it to HBO, because, as you said, HBO is one of the leading streaming services right now. For me, almost all their TV series are really good. I think it's a good move.
Yeah.
What do they have? HBO. Six
Game of
Feet
Thrones as well.
Under, Westworld, Game of Thrones. There's Big Little Lies. There's this Sharp Little Objects. But they're all drama. They're very good drama.
They have Watchmen as well. Watchmen, and
Exactly.
I think they're getting Sin City, like a TV series of the movie as well. So HBO is, and the thing about HBO is I actually trust. Oh, they're also getting I think they're getting Last of Us.
Oh yeah. That's true.
Last of Us. And the thing about HBO is I trust them. You know, like if Netflix get like, I mean, okay, I thought The Witcher was good. No, okay, no, that's a lie. I thought it was average. You know, but just because
I agree with you.
Just because I was a fan of The Witcher, you know, and I liked, you know, to see the stories and whatever, I thought it was okay. I thought it was good enough. Like it was good enough for me to watch as a fan. If I was just you know, just your average Joe who doesn't know nothing about The Witcher, I thought it was boring as hell. It was garbage.
Yeah.
I think I was just the quality, the content, and I just couldn't stop thinking to myself, man, they should have just given this to HBO. They would have done so much better, you know. But
I guess they wanted to please the fans more than they wanted a story that's more, that has more layers in it, because HBO has always produced series and films that like deep content. You know, there's always something behind what's happening. But Witcher used to be like you watch it as some sort of adventure and you enjoy, and that's it. There's nothing to think about in a deeper sense, like what's the Witcher's purpose, what's the women's purpose. There's this character that actually has a purpose, the ugly girl, what was her name again, who transformed into this beautiful woman.
Oh, Yennefer, yeah, she was like like a hunchback, and then you know, then she got powers or whatever, and then she was able to she became a witch, and then she became, you know, she made herself better and all these kind of things. So I guess you could kind of touch on it, like they did kind of, because when you think about that element, like, you know, that she was a hunchback and she wasn't seen as pretty or whatever, and then she got the power. So there's a superficial element that they're talking about. So I get it, but it's just, it wasn't executed in the best way possible. But let's not kind of stray off topic. I mean, we could do another topic on The Witcher. You made a good point there with the vaccine. Like, you know, people are going out, people are going to, you know, to bars and whatever. And with the vaccine, people are going to be a bit more confident. I think the main question is that what has happened is streaming has become more like it's a viable option, and it's a good option for a lot of people. So even if everything is back to normal, there's gonna be that group of people potentially that are thinking, well, I don't need to go see the Wonder Woman in the cinema. I have it on HBO right here. And based on how all Warner Bros. Lineup does, in terms of like increasing the subscription count for HBO, that might be the next thing that, you know, Warner Bros. Might be thinking, hey, listen, let's just stick with that. You know what I mean? Like let's actually get into this streaming battle like properly, because, you know, Netflix has, you know, they do have good content, of course, and I think I'm not too sure which movie that was nominated.
Netflix.
Yeah, which movie was nominated? And there was a bit of backlash. Was it The Irishman? The Irishman, yeah. And I don't know I can't remember who said it again, but they weren't too happy with the fact that a film that didn't show up in the cinemas is being nominated and could possibly win. But I think the landscape has changed a lot. So at this point now, you know, is this I don't want to say the death of the cinema or whatever. I think that's a bit too much. But it's gonna really, I think it's really gonna hurt them. Like COVID-19 just, you know, really kind of kicked them around a little bit. But the fact that now your main suppliers are actually have another viable option, that's really good. Like, to me, I think that's the main blow right now. As soon as I saw Wonder Woman was up there, I'm not even thinking about the cinema. I'm just thinking, yo, stream that. Dune, stream that. You know, Matrix, stream that. So regardless if people are ready to go back to the cinema or not, like they just might not do it. So I do think that's going to be a major blow. What are your thoughts on that? I'm
as someone who's really into film and someone who's really I'm sort of a purist. I really like cinema as it is. You going inside the cinema in a dark room and just a screen and just experiencing the story, and you know that you won't be able to pause the thing. You have to sit there and watch the whole thing and feel everything. That's just a difference when it becomes available now in streaming. It's something like just reading a book. You're now just actually you can read the book anywhere you want to. There's nothing. It's different than reading a book in the library, for example. You know that you're in a space where you can concentrate and read and just put all your thoughts in it. That's the thing. That it's the same thing with cinema. Cinema will be different when it's in streaming. It's not as because in streaming you can now pause. That's the thing. That's something I don't like about streaming. You can pause, which means your thoughts drift away. You're not as immersed as you are already when watching it in the cinema, because you gotta sit there and watch the whole thing. Whereas in streaming, you can just continue it by chapters if you want to, right? 20 minutes in the car, 20 minutes in work, 20 minutes when you get home. So it's not, you don't get to enjoy the whole experience as it is when you watch it in the cinema compared to streaming. But you do have to understand that because of COVID-19, we do the production houses do have to be, I mean, they have to find other ways to gain profit and earn money off their films. And that's the sad part, because the cinema houses and they're helpless. It's something that's irrevocable. No? You can't change it anymore. So I think it will be cinema will have a competition in streaming now. But if they know that there's still
a market.
There's still a market for cinema goers. I would still go to the cinema once it's okay, because it's still
an experience.
The best way to watch a film is to be inside a huge cube, watching it with all other people without any distractions. Maybe just your phone, but you won't, because you're still immersed in there with all that sound system around you. It's really different from having like a 100-inch TV, a home
Why would I
theater
betray
system.
you?
We all
I
have
think
our
it's still different when
secrets.
you're in the cinema.
We just didn't get to yours yet.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that. But what I will say is that you are a specific person. I don't think that. I think a lot of people out there will probably take up this option and just think, regardless.
Where's 007?
It's gonna hurt, like, for sure.
I need a favor, brother.
It's gonna hurt them.
You're the only one I trust for this.
I'm reading some articles as well, and they've all kind of said the exact same thing. Like, yo,
The world's moved on.
this
Commander
move
Bond.
right here is killing us all.
2 years.
Right now we're like we're
So
in
stay
that
in your
recovery
lane.
stage.
You get in my way.
But we
I
need
will
it
put a
to
bullet
grow.
in your knee.
And as soon as like one of the biggest partners around announces like all this stuff is coming
I
to
thought you
streaming
two would
day
get
one,
along.
it just makes a
Name?
bad situation
Bond.
worse. So